a lot better man today because of Jesus Christ, what he's done in my life. Right? I come tonight, and the devil's been at me all day. I had toothache, just felt like I was running a fever. And I just come to tell y'all that I don't know what somebody here's been praying for, what they've been seeking, but God still hears your prayer. I know immediate prayer got sent up for me before I was ever even saved or when I was out there just running the streets. And God hears our prayers. God hears the prayers of the righteous. And that's why I never tell my story, just tell it. I grew up in a good home. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 5. I grew up, like you said, we grew up, we had a good life. We fished, we hunted, and I just went a different route. And to start off with, didn't know if it was one bad decision I took, but it ended up being a pile of bad decisions that took me down the road I went down. I got a few notes so I kind of keep track. But I started doing drugs when I was in high school. Started out with pills and different things. But like I said, it was a regular home. It was a split-up home. Our parents was divorced. We never was around our dad, but we always had a good mom. She was always there. And coming up, she worked 2 or 3 jobs trying to take care of us. I don't know if y'all in a split home or not, but she done all she could do, you know. And we come to be close family. And my mama, when I was about 16, got sick with colon cancer and couldn't work anymore, so then my brother had to start working and all. But like I said, I started doing drugs when I was in high school, just a little bit kind of be cool and just hang out with other people, you know, just be part of the crowd. And it really didn't start getting a hold to me, I didn't think, until further in life. But after high school, I went to work building power lines, just chasing money and just trying to just get what the American dream I thought was. What the house, the car, and for me it was piling women and partying. And that just got to be part of my life. And then and sin, I don't know why I'm so nervous, and I ain't gonna pray for me. Sin took over my life. It wasn't just an addiction on drugs, it was all different kinds of sin. And the devil, he tried to make it look slick at you to start off with, like, oh, it's not that bad. This right here is not that bad just to do this one little thing. But the more you step off into it, the more further down you get. It says in the Bible that sin could be fun for a season, but that season's over with. But many a time, I should have been dead and gone, like Ethan said. The devil tried to split us up, tried to destroy me, really. I read in the Bible, Luke 22:31-32, and it says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that your faith fail you not. When thou art converted, strengthen thy brother. I believe that's what happened in my life. I believe I went off down that path and started sin and the different things that I wanted for my flesh and not putting God first. But Satan, he sought to sift me like wheat. He sought to destroy me. He sought to just really kill me. That's all he does, steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what he sought to do with my life. I knew that God had a calling on my life from a little age. Like I said, we grew up in church, we'd go to church. I knew what a Christian was supposed to look like and what was supposed to be, but I never had a relationship with God, with Christ, until the last 3 years. And during my life, like I said, Jesus had his hand over me a million times. I overdosed 3 times on drugs. My mama, I would go to her house and pile up on the couch and just take Xanax and Somnus and different things and just think I was going to sleep, but I done took too many and she'd have to call an ambulance to me and have my stomach knocked out. And just different things like that. You get into a system or get into a thinking I did that I had it under control. I had life under control, and I never had any of it under control. And I still don't have it under control. Jesus does. Thank God I've surrendered my life and whatever he wants me to do, I'm here. I'm available. Just like coming here. I appreciate the opportunity to come tell my testimony. I only told it a few times, and here the last 2 months, me and my wife, we started working with the youth over there with our church here in Breakthrough, and we don't have this many youth. We got about 8 or 10.
And we started with that.
Like I said, I still get nervous getting up here. People say it gets easier. I don't know. It ain't got easier yet. But I'm just glad to be able to. I'm glad I'm finally doing something right in my life. The last 3 years, serving Christ and seeking what he has for me to do besides seeking what I want. It's hard to beat down the flesh. It's hard for me still today to beat down the flesh. My desire still sometimes don't align with what Christ wants me to do. And I have to put that under the blood to see what he wants me to do. But like I said, I started doing drugs right during high school and after high school. Started working on the road. And I was from Alma. I grew up in Alma, country boy. Went working in Tallahassee. And it was a whole new world to me. College campus, different people partying. I was making good money building power lines. But I was blowing it all on drugs and partying. Didn't have really nothing stable to stand on, really. But to start off with, I didn't realize where I was going, I don't think. Because nobody in here, when I was y'all's age, I didn't intentionally say I wanted to grow up and be on drugs. Didn't want to grow up and go to prison. I've done spent 10 years of my life in prison because of the choices I made. There was 2 separate occasions. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But you turn around and it's over with. Or this part of my life has been over with. It went by a blink of an eye. And with me, for some reason, youth is what I feel like God's called me to help do and help talk to them, maybe encourage. Maybe y'all won't go down the same path I've been going down or went down for years. It took me 40 years to get to where I am now, and I finally, like I said, the last 3 years, been serving Christ and doing what I feel like He wants me to do. But I don't have no kids of my own. I've been married 3 times. I finally got a godly woman God sent me. Like I said, she's at home tonight for a church with our youth group over there, Breakthrough. But God's really blessed me, but it took me a long path to get there. Like I said, I've been to prison 3 times. It started out, I'd get DUI here, DUI there. I'd be on pills, drinking, and still be trying to drive the vehicle. I don't know why I'd always get high and try to get back on the road driving. But back in 2007, I totaled out 8 vehicles in 1 year. Like I said, I worked on power lines, made good money. I was running a crew one time with Sumter Utilities. And I come all the way back home from South Carolina because I run out of drugs, get more drugs, so I could make it through the rest of the week. I went to town, and I was coming back out of Alma. Y'all know, I don't know if y'all know where DLE is. There's a bridge out there. Went to sleep driving, went behind the guardrail, went 260 feet in the air before I landed back nose first. And somehow, I know how, it was Christ. God had His hand on me. I only had a few dents and busted up in my head and face. And other than that, nothing was wrong during that day. And you'd think you'd open your eyes and say, hey, you might need to quit doing what you're doing, but I didn't. I just kept on going back on the road and doing the same thing. Just partying and doing drugs. And like I said, in 2007, I totaled out 8 vehicles. I read more than 8. I totaled out 8 vehicles that year. And like I knew God had His hand on me. He had a calling on my life. I was too selfish and just self-centered to quit. And I really couldn't quit at that time. It had a hold of me. To start off with, I thought I had control of it, but I didn't. I never had control of it. And like I said before, I've been married 3 times. First 2 times, the first girl I thought I lusted after anyway, and we got married, and that didn't last long. We were both doing drugs. I was working on the road. I ended up running around on her. She was running around on me. It was toxic from the get-go. I just want to tell y'all, God has somebody for each and every one of y'all. Just wait and ask God, and He will send the right person for you. My wife now, Casey, when I got out of prison, I prayed. I got saved in prison. People call it jailhouse religion, whatever you want. I really turned my heart over to Christ and started chasing after Christ in prison in Rome, Georgia. My mom, she passed away with COVID, and couldn't come home to the funeral. There was all kinds of stuff going on, and so I had to put me in the box, what they call the hole. And I just really went to praying and seeking God. And that's where I really turned my heart over to Him. But on December 13, 2009, it should have been the day that opened my eyes. I was doing everyday thing. My routine was going to get high, hang out with buddies, and then go home to my mama's house. Then I was so messed up I didn't have my own place. I go to my mama's house and pass out. I went to go get me some more pills for the last time before I went home, and went to sleep driving. And went across the yellow line and killed a 44-year-old lady. Took her life. She was just headed home. And my stubbornness and my wanting myself to be high and be content with what was going on in my life, I took somebody else's life. Like I said, you think I would open my eyes, maybe say, well, God, what you got for me? But what it done for me, it turned me against God. It made me mad at God. I was like, God, why didn't you just let me die? Why did you let me go on and die and be over with? Besides taking this lady, she was just trying to get home to her family. She has grandkids now, but she never got to meet her grandmother because of what I wanted, what I thought was right for me at the time. I'll never be able to say or do anything to make that up to that family. It took a long time for me to forgive myself. God will forgive you. If you want to go to Christ and give it to Him and just give it to Him, He will forgive you. He says it's forgiven as far as the east is from the west. It is never to be remembered again. But us as self, we want to pick it back up. We want to give it to God and then go back over there and pick it back up. Come on. I've done it many times just like with that. I give it to God and go back and pick it back up. Well, God, you ain't forgive me for this right here. I can't even forgive myself for God. I mean, how can God really forgive you for that there? And it took a long time. And He does. Sometimes we try to make it harder than what it really is. We try to make the walk with Christ a whole lot harder than what it really is. God has called us to serve Him, to praise Him, and be His children. That's what we're supposed to do. And I mean, we all got a calling on our lives. We just got to figure out what it is. I'm still trying to figure out what God's calling is on my life. I'm 42 years old. And like I said, I believe right now for this season, God wants me working with you, trying to help encourage y'all not to go through the same things that I did, making the same decisions I made, going down a dead-end road that's only going to bring death. Nothing good is going to come out of it. But I've done skipped all over the place, but we'll try to get back to some of the story of my life. I mean, during all them wrecks and all the times that I was on pills, I've done every kind of drug there is in the market. I mean, I've done everything from pills to smoke crack to shot up meth, shot up heroin. I've done everything there is out there on the street. I mean, if they had it, I've done it. I mean, it's sad to say, but I did. I mean, I thought that was part of the crowd I was hanging around with. That was their life. That was our life. I mean, we'd do whatever we thought we had to do to get it. I would always work and keep a job. Like you just said, I worked with his daddy and all when I was younger. I was raised up to know how to work and to always know that you had to work if you wanted to ever have anything in life. But what I wanted out of life wasn't what the average person wanted. I mean, I was wanting drugs and just to stay high and party, living a life of sin. But after I got out of prison the first time, I done right at 60 months the first time. And I got out with the attitude that I thought I missed out on something. I thought I missed out on time with life. I thought I missed out on time with really just wasting time. You'd think I got out and just searched for God and asked God what He wanted me to do like I did this time, but I didn't. I never even tried to, and I can't explain it. But I don't know what gets so caught up in your mind. I think it's pure demonic. You got to be possessed, I believe, once you get that, let so much come in that you get took over in your mind and your thoughts and what you want in life. I got out of prison the first time. I stayed out for about 11 months. come home, promised everybody in the world, promised I'd do good, promised it wasn't going to be the same, but went back to the same thing. It all comes down to choices. It comes down to choices I made and the direction I went. My brother, he's a pastor over at Hazelhurst, and he wrote me a letter. And I thought about that thing for a long time. I couldn't come up with the answer for it. He said, Chris, we was raised the same. He said, we had the same friends when we was growing up. He said, how come my life went one direction and yours went the other? It's choices. We all face choices and have choices every day. The main choice is, are you going to serve Jesus Christ? Are you going to follow Christ? That's the main, most important choice there is out there. And that's a choice. That's a free will choice that God gives us. And that's what he did. When he gave his heart over to God, he gave it all to him. Me, I'd go to church and give him just a little bit. Take this right here, God. Deal with this right here for me where I can get out of this situation, where I can get my family to get back behind me. Maybe help me do a little something here, get back and help me get a vehicle or something. But it's just not wholehearted. Because people say you're sitting on a fence. There's no fence to sit on. Either you're all in or you're all out. That's what I'm trying to want to be here tonight to encourage y'all. I mean, I'm sure y'all have had enough word in y'all and speak to y'all and spoke to y'all, and y'all have heard that y'all have already made the decision to serve Christ. Right now is the time to start serving Him. Right now. Don't wait 40 years like I did. We as adults, our age group of people, has done voted people into Congress, that's done got prayer out of schools, all kinds of stuff going on, same gender bathrooms and everything else. But the thing is y'all still go into the schools. The church can't hardly go into the schools over now. Can they go into schools over here? I mean, but y'all can. Y'all can take Christ into schools there. That's why I try to tell the kids here with us. Christ is in each one of us. Each one of y'all. If y'all have surrendered y'all's life to Christ, He's in each one of y'all. Y'all can take Christ with y'all every day to school. How many people have y'all told about Christ this week out of this circle? 5? Have y'all told 2? Has anybody told 5 people at school about Christ? We got to do better. We got to. That's why I tell people not to. We got to do better. I mean, don't get me wrong. I work with a pastor, and people that work with us, some of them are still addicts. They're still struggling. And some days I got to catch myself. I'm not trying to show Christ to them or tell them about Christ, and they're there every day with me. We got to try to do better. We got to decide, and I believe that's something God wants me to decide today to follow Him. Really pick up your cross today and follow Him. I mean, it's that simple. We all got to pick it up every day, daily, and decide to follow Him. It's a choice, and we got to make the right one. I know me. I did 40 years. I wasted. I mean, any of y'all. I mean, is y'all's life goal to end up in prison for 10 years? To be strung out on drugs? I mean, in my youth group, I got about, like I said, about 8 kids. 7 of the 8 are in a broken home. 3 of the 8 have tried drugs. They're headed down that same road of the same disaster that I headed down. I mean, I just don't. I'm trying to figure out as I go what can I help do to help encourage? What can I help do to maybe y'all won't make the same thing? I know when I was y'all's age and somebody got up there speaking, I probably said, man, I'm not going to do that same crap. But I didn't intentionally have set out that I wanted to go spend 10 years in prison. I didn't intentionally have set out I wanted to kill somebody. Something I will never be able to change. I never intentionally set out to do that. But it was one bad choice after another bad choice after another bad choice. We got to decide and make a commitment. Or I know I did, and I'm trying to get our kids to make a commitment to themselves and to Christ that we're going to pick up our cross and follow Him. And take every opportunity that He offers so we can do it. And the doors were open. I mean, I've been out of prison for 2 years. When I got out, I had a few T-shirts, a few pair of pants. I had to go live with my brother. Luckily, my brother let me come back and live with him. I mean, I used to break in his house and steal his money. I mean, steal change from my nephew's little change jar, just so I could go get my one little fix. We don't ever intentionally want to do that. We're really not that person when we get there. Totally a different person than what I am today, or what I was when I was younger. I never thought I'd done something like that, but I did. But they showed me the love of Christ when I got out ready for parole and invited me back in their home. I mean, I done lied to them my whole life and said, hey, I ain't going to do that same stuff again. But finally, for one time, they see I'm not going to do that same stuff. And we just got to take up our cross and follow Christ. But we can't sit on the pew. And that's where it's got our society and our country where it's at today. Where people sitting on the pew just go to church 2 or 3 times a week and they go home and live like pure hell. You know what I mean? We can't do it. I think it's this generation God's called to stand up and have an army for Him. I believe it with my whole heart. God has not spared my life. Will come and try to be and speak to our youth and help build up and speak with y'all and have the opportunity to come here. We are here tonight on a divine appointment. I believe that with my whole heart, my whole soul. And I'm telling you, it is tonight. I don't know who in here is struggling, who's been praying for a breakthrough, who's been trying to get where they need to be, but God hears your prayers now. I feel it with my whole heart. And I'm telling you, He's there. He is wanting commitment from us, each and every one of us. If you'll make a commitment, He will be there to help you follow through with it. But it's tonight. And, I mean, we're not promised tomorrow. And I don't, like I said, I don't know. I know that now we can't even hardly get in our schoolhouse. We can't even hardly get up there. We tried to have a prayer thing up there about a month ago, and we can't even hardly get in there. Some of the people that y'all come into contact with every day, the only bit of Christ they want to see is from you. Yeah. And that's just like it is with us, adults. I mean, 2 people I work with, that's as far gone just like I was, it's bad. And sometimes I don't even know what to say to them, and I've been in them same shoes. We just got to ask Christ to strengthen us and follow Him. That's one thing I was going to read with our youth tonight. It's easy for us to get in our own feelings and caught up in our own life and our own world. And we don't even realize what kind of miracles we're missing all around. I know whenever I was messing up, many times that I know of that God had His hand on my life. I mean, like I said, I totaled out 8 vehicles in 1 year. That's not counting the other wrecks I had. I broke my neck twice. I've got 2 neck fusions. I've got 9 plates in my face. I broke every bone in my face. I've got 2 bulging discs in my back. I broke every rib on my left side. I fractured my right knee. I broke my right or left arm. I can't even remember all the bones I broke. God had His hand on me the whole time. Yeah. And I wouldn't even realize that He did back then. I wouldn't even realize that the miracle that He brought me through at that time. We get caught up, and it's just, we get caught up in our own lives. We got sometimes have to step back and take ourselves and our flesh out of it and ask God what He wants to do. I mean, we just got to. I know y'all have heard about where Jesus fed the 5,000 men and those women and children who just says 5,000 with the loaves and just a couple of fish. I got to reading the other night. Look at them right here. Mark chapter 6, verse 30, and I'll read through right here. Then the apostles gathered to Jesus and told Him all things, both that they had done and what they had thought. He said to them, come inside by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. But there are many coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. So they departed to a deserted place and abode by themselves. But the multitude saw them departing, and many knew them and ran there on foot from the city. They arrived before them and came together to Him. And Jesus, when He came out, saw a great multitude, was moved with compassion for them, because they were like sheep not having a shepherd. So He began to teach them many things. When the day was now far spent, His disciples came to Him and said, this is a deserted place, and already the hour is late. That's how us Christians do sometimes. When we really got us an idea in our head what we really want, But our thoughts, what we'd really like to do, God already knows what we want to do, but we come to God with it. Well, hey, don't you think we ought to go ahead and send them back? It's right what they're going to tell them. The disciples say, hey, don't you think we ought to go ahead and send the multitude back? Because they need to buy bread for themselves. Right here. This deserted place already an hour is late. Send them away that may go into surrounding country and villages and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. And on down, y'all know the story. They had come to the kid and he had the fish and the bread. He fed the 5,000. There was 12 baskets left. And then they departed to the sea to the other side. He said immediately his made the disciples get to the boat and go before him to the other side to the Sheba. While he said to the multitude, while he sent the multitude away. So they was going to the other side, and then this is where Jesus waited on the hill, and then he walked out there on water. They recognized that miracle right there. But down here further in verse 52. Then he went up into the boat with them after he walked on water out to them, and the wind ceased, and they were greatly amazed in themselves beyond measure and marveled because they seen Jesus walk on water. Right here in 52 it says, for they had not understood about the loaves because their heart was hardened. During that time their heart was already hardened because they were ready to go and send the people back, let them so-called go get food for themselves because they were ready to go do what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? That's what we got to be careful not to do. We got to be careful not to get in our own selves and be caught up in what we're doing and miss the miracle that Jesus just performed with feeding people with the five. It says fed over 5,000 people with just 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And said that for they had not understood about the loaves because their heart was hardened. They was walking with Jesus. And they seen the miracle happen. And it says right there that evidently they missed the miracle because their heart was hardened. Just that simple and that easy. I want to encourage y'all, don't get caught up in yourself tonight. Don't get caught up in what you got going on at home or got going on at school and miss what Jesus is doing in your life. I got a lot more to my testimony, different things. But it's just giving the devil more due than what it's due or to be. God has brought me from a deep, dark place. I mean, deep, dark place. I should have been dead many times before. Like I said, I done broke my neck twice, got 9 plates in my face, more than just in my back. I stand up here before you today. I don't hurt. I never ate. And that's the hand of God. That's Jesus. That's a miracle happening in our lives right now, in my life. If you look around, he's doing things in y'all too. Sometimes we overlook them. And I just want to encourage y'all, like I said, I just want to encourage y'all to let Christ shine through y'all. Y'all can change the world, really. And I know God wants to use y'all because our schools and all got so messed up. The only Christ people they're going to see in there, some of them, is y'all. So I encourage y'all, just serve the Lord with all your heart. Follow him. Pick up the cross daily. Follow him. And then just tell people about it. Tell the other teens, the other kids about it. Because that's the only way they're going to hear it. I love y'all. I thought I was going to have more of this.